Hello again. Welcome to another podcast episode, part two of my interview with architect Almaz Salma Abdul Rahim of the Almaz Architects in Berhad, who is the managing director of that company. And it was really interesting in part one. And I'd like to talk about a book that you are involved with, Architect Almaz, which is entitled To Have It All by Professor Jamila. You could also add in if I don't have enough information, but there is something about um, women needing to find that balance in their profession. Maybe that could start our conversation for part two in this series. Thanks for
Yeah,
coming.
thank you. Thank you, Naziaty. Um, uh, uh, Professor Dr. Jamila Arifin approached me to be one of the narrators for this book. And the whole intention, I think, of the book is to highlight um, the issues that the younger women would be facing now to have it all. Those in the book are in the 50s and the 60s, and I think we had it. We had it all. We had our career, our family, and some were amazing, or federal court judges, fighter pilot, such amazing people. But it all came down to that we all did have help getting to where we were. We all had house help to help us in the house. But the situation now is quite different. And the concern is that the population is plateauing
Mm,
and women are having to make decisions whether to pursue their career or give it up and have start a family. Because the help, the extended family, the um daily help that is was available for us when our children were small, it's not there for them now.
mm,
So what this book hopes to do is to um, assist the younger people or let them see how the those in my generation managed to have it all, and also for the government to see that if they did not do something, they're going to lose 50% of the working population who are women. So hopefully that this book is actually researched for the past 1.5 years, by
okay.
Prof. Jamila and her two other professors. And it's a very detailed study of the situation. And hopefully, but of course, the situations change with time, so it is quite important that it is read now and adjustments are made, to the working situation so that women who are so highly qualified now can
Mhm,
continue
mm.
having their family and expanding their careers.
I was doing my sabbatical in a company that employs a lot of architects. It's a big company. And I made friends there. And at one point there were quite a number of women. But I noticed like at the age of 35, 34, they quit the company and they go and work with a developer. They didn't, I believe that they wanted to be an architect and they want to be in that company right until the top positions. But this is kind of like a trend that I notice. And I'm not, I mean, it's okay. I've managed to, I've mentioned this before that I noticed this. But what do you think that the issue here when they were doing fine and then somehow they wanted to have family and children? That was the biological age, isn't it? 34 and 35, the limitation in terms of perceptions of it. Um, what happened there and how should that company help assist? How would the company assist and how would the government assist women in the architecture profession to still, pursue their career in their chosen profession?
Well, when you're a working consultant, um, you have that chance to design and manage projects, but definitely those working with developers earn much more. And I think the working hours are not as drastic.
Overtime is not really.
Oh, no, overtime. You're working like overtime all that for, as in private practice. So two reasons would be one, salary, a better salary, and better working hours would be something that I think they decided to move. But I don't know, yeah, yes, I have seen that. Definitely, I've seen that in some development companies. So she was so and so was in this company. They made really tahan, they have to like day and night. You don't see the spouse, you don't see the children, so it was a decision that they had to leave. So it's a matter of, I mean, the women are working as hard as the guys, but the guys have a wife at home to
Yeah.
deal with things, the meals, children's bedtime, just being there. You need to be there. You cannot be parent, not be there. So it's just a
Yes.
decision they have to make.
And what it is that I've been listening to other interviews and how they had very sympathetic bosses, and they could like take a year out. But that is like losing your seniority as well. And in corporations and bigger companies, that's a big deal, isn't it? Not to take long leaves and stuff like that. But why is if women in the cultural role or traditional role of the being the person who is needing to be there for the family is something that is accepted in society, why can't corporations understand that and help women architects to negotiate that part of their lives? Is it just dollars and cents?
No, 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 no.
Okay,
I made a choice to work in a company that was just 5 minutes away from where I live.
okay, okay.
Even when I opened my company, I was like 7 minutes away from where I live.
All right.
So, but not everyone is blessed with that kind of situation.
Yeah.
It's also a situation where I treasure that I did not move because that was a priority to me, to be able to go home at lunchtime, check on my kids coming from school, breastfeed the youngest one, and make sure the next one they go off to school agama, check on them midday, what's happened, Uh, and I do come back a bit later at night because my husband would have come back earlier. So this balance, and maybe my boss knew, but I made it up. I made up for time.
Yes, it made up to
It
time.
made up for time. I think uh, for your boss to give you that flexibility, you have to put in, the hours and the time. You cannot take things for granted. It wouldn't be fair either way. So for me, having that little extended lunchtime and leaving work at 8 at night, it's fine with me because there's already another parent at home, and it was fine with my boss. I still got the things done. So uh, I don't know how many companies will allow that.
Mm.
Like for instance, when my children were ill and had to be admitted to hospital, my boss would say, "You just go look after her. When everything's fine, come back." But um, that's something you appreciate, and you don't never ever take for granted, and always sort things out, and you know never shirk in your work, because having those little um plus points, little benefits, which is it's not a written benefit. It's um it's special, but you have to treasure it and make up for it, in other ways.
Human relations, isn't it? Your
Yeah.
boss is a male architect, but they are compassionate and they are empathetic to what's happened. And I've heard about that company being loved by people who I interview or I know of. And a lot of part 3 architects come up when they did their part 3, they were working in that company that you mentioned. And in fact, you had a chance to be an associate at one point, but you decided at that point to open your own company after 10 years. Is 10 years sort of after you graduate and you work for 10 years? Is that sort of the time where you have to make decisions is in your mid-30s, isn't it? Mid-30s.
37, 36, just after mid-30s, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have children by then? All your
Four. I had all my four children by then.
before by then. So
Yeah.
so there was this decision wanting to have your own company due to your own apa your goals and your dreams lah. So looking back at that, it may not have been easy because there were something the cushy job of a company that taken care of your salary. Now you have to be on your own. Would you like to go and talk about how you felt that time, and were there any struggles as a female architect?
Um, I had postponed my resignation for a year,
Mhm.
and it's like, not now, so by the time I think the feeling was, if I don't do this now, I would never know how it would be like. It's
Mhm.
something I had to try. I wanted to experiment with things. I wanted to try so many design
Yeah,
options, but because in being in a corporate um firm established since 1908,
yeah.
you there are certain way that things are done, designs that are done
Mm.
very solid design, nothing too sensational, but safe, is innovative. But being me, I just needed to go and find out, what if I did this? What if I did that? I'm gonna try this and try that. And it wouldn't be fair to the company if I had gone did that in the firm, I felt. So I needed to go out and give it a
Okay,
shot.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And to see how, and I didn't know anything about business. You don't learn about business when in a big firm like that, that's taken care of
Oh,
by,
yes, yes, the business
yeah,
side of architecture, yeah.
yeah, the bosses and the general manager, things like that. So that's something I needed to know as well. So when I came out, I just had one project and I had one staff. And no, I didn't take any staff in the company. I hired one on my own, and I was going to go slow and just have flexible time. And that was for me, the flexible time. So I couldn't keep the 9 to 5, although I had less flexibility in the
Yeah,
company.
correct.
It's not official, but I needed flexible time so that I have time with my children.
Mm.
So that I was got involved in the PIBG. I never miss the school functions. Even when I was employed, I never miss the school functions. But having that flexibility of actually picking them up from school, and chatting with other parents, it's my own time. So that is invaluable to me.
Your children, are they now in university already? Are they grown,
Uh,
everybody?
all working. I've got almost four grandchildren now.
All right, congratulations. And but your company is doing well. You have like 18 people working with three directors and the architects. How do you actually manage architects nowadays? They, especially for the women architects in your company, um, were there, I mean, is it different from before, or they have the same issues? And do you give them flexible time, or how do you work out all these problems, after they get married and stuff? I'm just quoting problems, but maybe they are not. Okay, go on.
Well, uh, my my architect doesn't have children.
Mm,
The other one is not married yet,
okay.
but I think the compassion is throughout. It's not just for the women, because
Okay.
the men now do have to look after the children.
Yeah, the men do.
When the children are ill, they have to take turns with their wives.
Nowadays, it's not like
Yes,
before, right?
yes, and they do bring their children to work.
Okay, okay.
And lie down on the chair, say, "What's wrong with her? She's not well." So it's okay, just lying down in his
Okay.
cubicle, in the office. So that compassion is not just for women, it's
Mm,
for everyone. because
Mm-hmm.
it's that shared responsibility. And I think if we give the same a due how do you say compassion to the men, they're
Mm-hmm.
able to do more for the
Okay, that's
family,
great.
right? If I was so say to the man, you're not the wife, I'm not, you can't bring your children to work, you can't take time to they won't be able to do it.
Yes, yes, yes.
You
That
have to allow.
passion.
I suppose that's about gender equity,
Yeah.
allowing the same empathy for your male and female staff so that they can do the work of parents.
I assume that as a boss, your architects and your staff will need to do the work as to deliver the work in time. So they would probably be doing overtime as well. But do you encourage overtime, or how would you mentor them on this issue of working overtime?
We don't encourage overtime, but if necessary, they would need to do that. But the overtime needs to be approved before the overtime. We
Yeah,
have to control that time.
it's not like a culture in your office that you are expected to do overtime. No.
No,
Yeah.
only when it's necessary because we have to control the finances. And our staff are not encouraged to work weekends. We try and wrap up everything
That's
weekdays.
great. That's
Only
great.
if there's a deadline on Monday, or Tuesday, then they would have to
Right.
work
Yeah.
the weekend. Because I believe that work is not uh work is continuous.
Yeah.
You must have a rest day.
Yeah.
And then you're recharged. Because that's my own experience. I need to have my family, my activities on Saturday and Sundays. When I go back, I don't think about the work over the weekend, but as a business owner, you think about it all the time.
Yes. Yes.
But as an employee, you can just keep your mind clean, and Monday solutions come back. Your mind needs to be clear, before you can find a solution. So it works for me. I believe it works for those who work for me, you see.
Yeah. Okay. Deb, we have about 10 minutes in our podcast interview, and we like to go back to this idea of being knowledgeable because you did emphasize that being knowledgeable is very important for any architect, and for female architects, they need to counter any prejudices or biasness by being knowledgeable, that we know. So are there barriers in attitude that you see in general, or that you encountered, that make people see that they look at being knowledgeable differently, or they're not really doing justice to the teamwork or the company that they're serving or they're working for? I'm sure have been some problems with attitudes that you could, look into that, or you could also talk about being knowledge, what it is to be knowledgeable. What does it really mean?
I think as an architect, being knowledgeable is what everything that you do. If you're doing design, then you have to understand why you design it that way, or why we requested it to be that way, or why the client wants it to be that way, so that you can offer solutions which are rational and the client can accept. But of course, design stage, the directors are all involved. We do not um sub it out to our junior staff. That's something we're committed to our clients, that
Mm.
we are involved in the design. But even like when we have to do a lot of coordination with our engineers,
Mm.
then it's really important that our architects know the design so that they're not being bullied to accept solutions that will affect the design.
Mm.
So this is something that being knowledgeable is about, so that they know how to ensure the design is maintained without being corrupted by engineering.
But this is a tussle, isn't it? A
Yeah, it
struggle
is.
to
It
not be
is.
bullied, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because you end up having huge columns that or deep beams that and suddenly like the ceiling goes so low because the beam is so low. So
Yeah.
they have to know like this is what we have to achieve. We need a column free beam free room, for instance. Don't allow your engineer to put a beam inside there because we know it can be done. So that's why we have architect meetings once a month. So
Mm,
we share our experience with each other.
mm,
So every problem one architect is encountering in his project, he bring it up. Then others we talk about how they give solutions in their projects. So
mm-hmm.
that we can we learn from each other. It's a much faster way of learning.
So, one of the this question keep popping up whether there is a glass ceiling in the industry and because it is a male dominated industry. And as we mentioned, we discussed this before, maybe in corporations or bigger companies, there could be a glass ceiling. Would you like to comment on this term, if you think there is or not?
I think I'm not aware. I
Okay.
don't have personal experience facing
Mm.
glass ceiling. Um,
You felt that, there is nothing and no barrier for you to get to the top of what you want to do all this while from the beginning.
no,
No.
not for me.
Why do you think that people think that there is a glass ceiling in working in corporations or working in companies? Do you have any idea or?
I don't know. Or maybe it's either they want to or not, to get
Hmm.
into that position. Because once you go to a higher position in a body corporate, for instance, there are more things that are expected of you rather than knowing how to build, how to design and build.
There's all these other skills that they need to.
Other skills, human skills, human resource skills, financial skills, marketing skills, networking skills, So
Correct. Yeah.
it's a new ball game, being in the corporate world, and I'm sure you're expected to go out and get jobs, bring in projects, things like that, and um socialize and network. So unless they're prepared to learn something new, it's moving out of your comfort zone. So architects become so good at what they're doing, but
Mm,
once you get into business,
mm,
coming out of your comfort zone, you have to go into another realm
yeah.
of, you know, um, trying to get projects,
Correct.
visibility, and getting people to be aware that you exist and the work that you do, what you can do.
You need to market yourself as well. You need to.
Yes, yes.
Correct.
Market yourself, get yourself in publications,
Mm.
get into competitions, participate, CSR, things like that, So it's a lot more. So and you just have to have that personality, I think, to go out
Person.
and do it. So it's matter you want or you don't want to. But I think capability wise, people, I mean, those at the top
Mm.
offer is this. I don't think there's any difference between a woman and a man.
Yeah.
It's if
This
you want
is
to go beyond what you know.
this is important. The word you mentioned, personality. It made me think about is my curiosity is there such a thing as an architect personality? What is it to be an architect? The personality of an architect. Did you think about that when you were younger, starting out? That this is the some vision or some idea that the personality that you need to be
I
a vision of
Yeah,
sorts.
yeah. I mean, an architect is someone who starts on a blank piece of paper.
Hmm.
So that positivity is something that I think is so important for an architect. That you're positive, you're curious,
Mm,
you have people skills.
mm,
You have to want to. to know about what people need, and you have to have that respect for people because you are designing for people. You're
Mm.
not just designing a box, you know.
Mm.
So to get the right product, you have to ask the right questions. So all these things, I think make up the personality of an architect. I
Mm.
think that's why architects get along with each other really well.
Yes. No, at the end of the day, when I do this interview, especially for someone like you who are experienced and all, that vision thing is kind of important because coming from you, it is important for female architects to be hearing female architects mentors or people who has made it, like
Yeah.
yourself. It is important to understand how you started out and what vision you had. But uh, but not necessarily when we were in university, the students understood that, that the vision of being an architect is understood as much as when they are in practice, then they start thinking, oh, this is actually, I need to be people skills. I need to know what they need. Because when they were in school, they were just doing onto themselves, right? Just inside their head. So
Mm.
it's kind of important that we come to this point where you could, for about a few minutes, tell us in conclusion what you think this vision that everyone need to have to be an architect.
Well, sure, 4 minutes. um, yeah, I think you have to be really passionate about it because I remember finishing a building once. It was
Mm.
extension to a hotel, and I went through it on completion, and I felt like I was seeing my child on the what's that day you call when women come out? It's not graduation when they come out they show off the women, the girls to the public. I forget the word. Um, so I really feel that like this is my baby and she's grown, she's matured, and she's ready
Mhm.
to show off to the world. You know that's a kind of feeling I get. Maybe it's the maternal side, but it's like I know every pipe that goes into this building. I know every PowerPoint, every light fitting, every sprinkler point that goes there. You know, it's that the feeling of being uh, so proud and so fulfilled.
Yes, yes.
You know, so uh what is it about being an architect? You must have that passion, you must have the drive, and you must be absolutely focused because it's not an easy task. It's not an easy ride. There'll be so many distractions and diversions that could happen, but you
Right.
have to be absolutely focused on what you want to achieve. And there'll be other things, the children, the activities, the sickness, everything, but you have to be focused. Uh, Even past that, when the children are grown and have their own children with the projects, with the company, there's still other things that could, you know, deviate. But you have to be focused on what the company stands for. That from the beginning, for me, it was about sustainability, passive sustainability. And now it's become the big word that everybody's using it. But I started 31 years ago. And that's what I wanted to
Right.
experiment with. And I'm so happy that, I'm able to guide the company to do things like that, and without being engineered. It has to be architectural to achieve that architecturally, not in an engineered way. So
There is a difference between architect and engineers.
there is. I mean, you could put all the things in technology,
Mm-mm.
works in technology to make it work,
Mm.
but aesthetic is an important. That's our skill as an architect. So architects, you must know that that is how we want our buildings to emerge from nothingness, aesthetically pleasing, as invoking certain emotions from the people who we design for. People are happy. It's all about these other intangibles that we want to create, but we have to be focused. We have to build it. It's a solid piece of material, but it's the other intangibles that we're working with to achieve. That's not an easy task, so it's important to be focused.
Congratulations. Architects work with intangibles, and engineers don't. So you know the difference between architects and engineers, and you're the architect's architect. You seem to be like the architect's architect, and you just happen to be female, and you're an excellent example of what we need to actually persevere and focus, and a testimony to a female architect who is very successful. So I thank you so much for being with us. Unless you have anything else to say, we're going to conclude.
Thank you so much for having me. I always look for a chance to say what's in my head.
No, we appreciate you very much, and it is from your peers as well that ask that you be interviewed. And I myself know you, not that well, but I respect of your work and what you've done for the architecture industry and profession in particular. Thank you so much, Architect Almaz.
Thank you so much.
Okay, see you when I see you.
Oh, wait, could you take a photo? Are you able to do that?
Okay, I'll do that.
Oh, you do that.
Smile. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wait a second. I will just stop the recording now. Thank you.